Well, and you're right, and it's the opposite of what the founders believed.
Absolutely.
You know, the founders believed that if you could push government as far out to the people as possible so that local problems are being solved by local people with local money, that things would be much better for everybody, and they were right on the money with it. And, you know, we need to quit thinking with the central government mindset and turn it back around to where they allow us to define what our problems are, what our solutions are, and our funding needs to be on a local basis.
That's absolutely the key. We are heading towards a break here. Now, on the other side of the break, I want to ask you, Phil, about why the left, even many people on the left, like your position as well. Your position crosses party boundaries and brings it back to freedom and self-reliance and getting the federal government off our farms and out of our states. Join us back here on the other side of this break on The Alex Jones Show with Phil Moffett. This is Mike Adams filling in for Alex today, and we are joined by some good music in the background there. We are joined by gubernatorial candidate for the state of Kentucky, Phil Moffett, who is running on a platform of nullifying the FDA's influence over Kentucky's farms and even nullifying the Department of Agriculture's mandates over farming there. Mr. Moffett is also an opponent of the Obama healthcare system that has been pushed upon Americans. And I also wanted to ask you, too, Phil, about what do you think about the Senate 510 Food Safety Act that has been passed and that is now going to further burden U.S. farmers who are trying to just make an honest living?
Well, this is another example of the government passing legislation and putting some happy name on it, like the Food Safety Act. And in reality, what they're doing is stripping away more of our liberties and more of our freedoms with the act itself. And we just have to stop this stuff. If we really knew that certain products were absolute carcinogens or absolute health hazards and things like that, I can understand where the federal government would want to act. But the reality is all they're interested in is telling us what to do and when to do it and how to do it. And they're killing our farm economy by doing that, and it just needs to stop. They need to give that power back to the state. We have a fully functional Department of Agriculture at the state level in Kentucky, and we're perfectly capable of managing our own affairs in that regard.
Exactly, and with the economic abundance that would come from the freedom that you would like to restore to Kentucky's farmers, seems like the state of Kentucky would have a lot of extra tax revenues to use for running things like your own state Department of Agriculture. Makes economic sense, doesn't it?
It makes economic sense anytime government gets out of the way and lets people figure things out on their own. Because the free market is the most efficient vehicle for getting progress accomplished in terms of new products, new services, and the more the government stands in the way, the more they retard that effort.
And what's really interesting about your position, this is just my comment, I have a lot of readers on both the left and the right, and a lot of libertarian readers as well. And I noticed that even people on the far left are very much in support of your basic platform here of being able to grow what you want to grow without the feds coming in and telling you can't grow that. Industrial hemp being used to create hemp seeds, which are very rich in omega-3s, and hemp clothing, which is really rugged and long-lasting. You can blend it with cotton. You know, even the people on the left have been actually calling out for some of these things, of course, perhaps in a different context. I understand that's not where you're coming from, Phil. You're a Tea Party candidate. But isn't it interesting that your position has such broad appeal that crosses virtually all party boundaries and just gets down to the root of freedom for the people at a local level?
Common sense has a broad appeal. You know, there is not a reasonable explanation other than a power grab by a rich industrialist in the 1930s that industrial hemp ever should have been taken off the market. There was absolutely no reason for it, and it needs to be brought back. As I said earlier, common sense has broad appeal across all segments of society, and I think I think a big part of the Tea Party movement coming to life is the fact that, people understand at a common sense level we can't keep burying our country in debt. Just like at a common sense level we know that we can't continue to be buried in regulation from the FDA and the EPA on things that really are local issues that we should be figuring out on our own.
And what can people do, Phil, who want to support your campaign or learn more about the progress of your campaign?
Well, we definitely need your help. We have 54 days till our primary. We actually have a May 17, 2011 primary, and you can go out to philmoffett.com at PHILMOFFETT.com. Sign up for email updates. You can sign up to volunteer or make donations. And also you can follow us on Twitter, which is Moffett Harmon 11, which is 11. So Moffett Harmon, HARMON 11. And that's on Twitter. So get in touch with us. We would love to have you as part of the team, and we need your support.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Phil, for joining us here on the Alex Jones Show today. And thank you for adopting this platform of nullifying the FDA, the DEA, and the USDA in the state of Kentucky. It will be very interesting to see how this moves forward. We wish you the best of success in your candidacy. And, of course, any candidate who's running for office on a platform of freedom is likely to do increasingly well in the days ahead, because I think America has reached a tipping point. America is tired of the federal government telling us how to live our lives, grow our food, and take our medicine. And people are changing. People are recognizing we've got to have freedom if we want to have a future. We'll be back on the other side of this break right here on The Alex Jones Show. Stay with us.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.